My name is Daniel Parker, and I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona, in a family where honesty and loyalty were always emphasized. My father used to tell me, "Son, when someone truly cares about you, you won't be left confused about their intentions." As I entered adulthood, those words echoed in my mind more often than I expected. Because as much as people talk about love, dating, and relationships, what I discovered in the real world was that actions reveal more truth than words ever could. I started dating seriously in my late 20s. At first, I was naive. I believed that if someone said they cared, it meant they would show up, stay consistent, and put effort into building a future. But over time, I began noticing patterns, especially when it came to avoidance. I met women who were friendly, charming, and even affectionate in conversation, but when it came to making any sort of commitment or showing steady interest, they would dodge, disappear, or change the subject. At first, I blamed myself, thinking maybe I was doing something wrong. But the more I experienced, the more I realized this wasn't about me, it was about them. The first time this hit me hard was with a woman named Emily, a nurse I met in Dallas. She seemed kind, always smiling, and we clicked immediately. We went out for coffee, talked about books, and even shared stories about our families. But when I tried to move things forward, whether by planning meaningful dates or simply asking about the direction of our connection, she would always find excuses. "Work is just really busy right now," she'd say, or, "I don't know if I'm ready for anything serious." Weeks turned into months, and yet nothing changed. I kept giving her the benefit of the doubt, but in the back of my mind, I remembered my father's words. If someone truly values you, they won't leave you uncertain. Emily wasn't a bad person. She just wasn't genuinely interested in me in the way I had hoped. That was the hard pill to swallow. When someone keeps avoiding consistency, it usually means they don't see you as their priority. And instead of wasting months trying to convince them otherwise, the better choice is to recognize the signs and move on. That's the real red pill truth. It's not about bitterness, but about clarity. Years later, when I was living in Denver, I met another woman named Rachel. She was outgoing, adventurous, and seemed to light up every room she walked into. At first, it felt exciting. We'd go hiking, explore new restaurants, and even talk late into the night about life goals. But slowly, I began noticing the same pattern. Whenever the topic of building something long-term came up, whether it was exclusivity, commitment, or planning for the future, she would laugh it off or change the subject. She enjoyed the attention and the companionship, but she didn't actually want to invest in anything deeper. This was when I began to see a recurring truth: avoidance is a choice. If someone keeps avoiding seriousness, it isn't because they're too busy or not ready. It's because they don't want that with you. And once you recognize this, you free yourself from the endless cycle of waiting for someone to change their mind. People rarely change for you. They change because they want to. If they wanted to commit, they would. If they wanted to prioritize you, they would. It really is that simple. As I grew older, I also learned that this truth doesn't just apply to dating. It applies to life in general. Whether it's friendships, work opportunities, or family relationships, when people avoid showing up consistently, it speaks louder than anything they claim with their words. Real value is shown in action. One of the toughest lessons I learned came from a woman named Sarah, who I met in Chicago. We dated for nearly a year, and at first, everything seemed promising. She would introduce me to her friends, invite me to family gatherings, and talk about the future casually. But when it came time to actually make concrete plans, like moving in together or even having serious conversations about marriage, she would shut down. She'd say, "Why rush things?" or "Let's just enjoy the moment." At first, I thought maybe I was pushing too hard. But then I realized I wasn't asking for anything unreasonable. I was asking for clarity, and she was giving me avoidance. And avoidance, in itself, is an answer. Walking away from that relationship was painful. But it taught me something valuable. Clarity is peace. When someone truly wants to build with you, they won't avoid the conversation. They'll step into it, even if it's difficult, because they value you enough to be honest. After moving back to Phoenix, I reflected on everything I had learned over the years. I realized that many men, myself included, often stay in situations far longer than they should because they're hoping for change. We tell ourselves, maybe she just needs more time, or maybe if I prove myself, she'll see my worth. But the truth is, if she keeps avoiding showing up, then it only means she's not truly invested. And as men, the red pill truth we need to accept is this: it's better to face reality early than to waste years on someone who was never truly interested. So what's the takeaway? It's simple. If she avoids commitment, avoids consistency, avoids making the effort, it only means she's not serious about you. Don't waste your time trying to decode mixed signals. Real interest is never confusing. If she values you, you'll know it. If she doesn't, you'll feel it. And once you know the difference, you'll save yourself from heartbreak and frustration. Today, I share this story not out of bitterness, but out of clarity. Because I know there are countless men out there who are experiencing the same confusion I once felt. And to them, I say this: trust actions over words. Don't chase what isn't meant for you. Respect yourself enough to walk away when avoidance becomes the answer. Because the right person won't avoid building with you, they'll choose you, clearly and wholeheartedly. That's the real red pill truth.